Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Regular viewers will know that I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, I'm really excited today to tell you I've just bought a Nikon Z6 and here it is. This is their full frame mirrorless camera. Now, regular viewers will know 6-7 months ago when this came out, I absolutely said I would never be buying a Nikon Z6 or Z7, and there was a number of reasons why I said that. I didn't like its autofocus. There's a number of things I didn't like about it, and I thought, no, that's definitely not for me. And also having the one card slot. So I'll go through some of these negatives, but what actually prompted me to buy it was the fantastic value it is now. When it came out, I think it was about 2,600, 2,700 quid with a kit lens, but with no adapter. Now, I got this entire kit for 2,100, which was the body, as you can see there, really fantastic body. The kit lens, which is the 24-70, very, very nice lens. Actually, it is actually for a kit lens. It is actually a very, very nice lens. And I got the FZ or FTZ, I'm looking at the box here, the FTZ mount adapter, which apparently you can mount conventional Nikon lenses. Now, I haven't used Nikon for about 10 years and I'm trying to get my head around DXFX and what have you. But apparently you can mount either the APS-C lenses or their full frame lenses on the full frame mirrorless body, and that's the adapter. I haven't got any old lenses to try it with. I'm going to borrow a few off my mate just to see how well that works, so I can't comment on that. Although other reviewers do seem to say this works exceptionally well. Who knows? But yeah, the Nikon Z6 24 megapixel full frame sensor, fantastic. I'd say the image quality that comes off this sensor is absolutely phenomenal. And I've only had it a day, but in my very quick tests, I absolutely love the image quality. I can't say for video at the moment because my initial tests haven't been terribly successful, but I am running version 1 software. I can't update the software at the moment, and I'll go into reasons for that in just a moment. But overall, lovely body. And what I love about this camera, and what I did from day one actually, is the grip, because it's so reminiscent of my Fuji X-H1, which is filming behind me here. I've got the power booster on there at the moment, but the grip on the X-H1 is fantastic, and I love going out with a camera with a really nice grip. And my other favourite camera, which had a great grip, was the Olympus OMD EM1 Mark II. What a mouthful that is. And that's got a great grip as well. But I sold the EM1 Mark II. I did have the Sony A7 III and the A7R III and the A7R II, but I got rid of all my Sony kits. I didn't enjoy going out with it. Didn't enjoy taking photographs with it. The results were fantastic, but the grip was really, it was bad. For me, it was really bad. My knuckles here kept rubbing up against the lens. But on this grip, I don't know how well you can see that, but there's quite a big clearance. There's a huge clearance between my knuckle and the lens. So it makes it a nice, comfortable grip to hold when you're going out taking photographs or taking video. So that is a really good plus point with this camera. The other plus points, well, there's many plus points. So A, it's full frame. There's no pixel binning in 4K video, so it's reading across the entire sensor. So you get great image quality. 10-bit 422 output via HDMI. And that's another nice thing with this camera, as opposed to my Fuji X-H3, which is what my main camera is filming this with. It's got a mini size, not full size, but a mini size HDMI port on the side here. He said, don't like these flaps. But yeah, mini size HDMI port on the side of the camera. Just see there, USB-C or USB 3, USB-C, get this right, too many different types of connections. USB-C, so you can actually power the camera from a USB block, and that is great for me. So I can set it up for filming and power it by the USB-C, apparently. So that is that. Obviously, for video, headphone, microphone jack. It is a reasonably fully fledged video camera, although it is missing certain display features. It's got zebras and it's got peaking, but it hasn't got waveform and a few other things that a videographer may want. Really nice feel with the I've heard a couple of people criticise where the on off button is, but it's a typical Nikon on off button and I find that fine, don't have any issue with that. Nice dials on the top, everything is really solid. It's a really good solid display. Yeah, we've got, what else have we got on it? Let me consult my sheet of paper. It has the new Z mount. I have no idea whether, whether that's a bonus or minus or indifferent, you know. Apparently it's going to be a bonus because it's a bigger mount. They can make smaller lenses, apparently. Let me just turn that off. But that is the Z mount. Really nice, yeah. And this 24 to 70, nicely made lens. It's not crap. I'm trying to get used to these lenses mount the opposite way to what they do on Fuji and Sony and I think Canon as well. It goes the opposite way and I can't get my head around that at the moment. But I've only got the one lens, so until I start using the adapter I don't have to worry about taking lenses on and off. And the other bizarre thing with this lens, Fuji do it with a couple of air lenses. I know Panasonic do it as well. You have to turn it off to retract it. So when you turn the camera on, it don't come straight on. It gives you that warning that you've got to twist the lens. I don't like that, you know. It's fine, you know, but I just like to be able to turn the camera on and you're at 24mm and that's where you are. But there you go. It has got this programmable control wheel here on the lens. Now I don't know if all the Nikon Z lenses have got this programmable control wheel, but this one has, and you can program it for various functions: aperture, exposure compensation, etc. I've got it programmed for aperture because on my Fuji cameras that's where the aperture is. You bring it to your eye and you can adjust the aperture just by turning the aperture ring. So I've got this one set up for that, but it works, but it's for example, it jumps from like 7.1, 5.6 right up to f11 or whatever. It's a bit it's not accurate basically. So you may be just best off using the control wheel on the top dial here for adjusting the aperture, because it's got the two control wheels, one on the back there and one on the front and one on the back, and they're all, you know, programmable, very much like Canon, Nikon. Well, actually I don't know about Canon, but very much like Olympus, Panasonic, Sony's, you know, Fuji's, and it's got your PASM dial there, program dial on the top. Push that in, adjust the aperture, shutter priority, manual, and your own user settings, etc, etc, etc. So from that point of view, nice 3-inch tilty-wilty screen, and it is a fantastic touchscreen. It's very much like Canon do. The Nikon have really nailed that, I think. The touchscreen experience is lovely on the Nikon, not so lovely on the Fuji's, to be fair. Although I'm a big Fuji fan, I'm not very keen. In fact, I turn it off because I just don't like it. On the Nikon, it seems fine. And what does help on the Nikon is the lens, the viewfinder protrudes a bit further back. Can you see how easy that is to tell from the monitor? So when you've got it up to your eye, you're not necessarily squidging your nose right up against the screen, so you're not going to accidentally move your focus point. So, you know, great design. A lot of it is a great design. It's got one card slot. I know people have poo-pooed that, and I did from the start, but I do mainly video, so one card slot is no big deal to me. But it is annoying. It's XQD. XQD cards are very fast, they're strong, they're reliable, apparently. I love that word, apparently, because I actually don't know for sure, but apparently very reliable, but very expensive at the moment, you know, compared to SD cards. and you have to get a special XD card reader. But there you go. So I will be doing obviously a lot more to do with this camera. I think it's a camera that people should be interested in buying, particularly at the price point that it is now. And I've downloaded version 2 of the firmware because that enables eye detection. I'm not terribly keen on replacement of these function buttons. I think they made a bit of a boo-boo there, because the top one, easy to get to, that's lovely. The placement of the top one is great. I've got no problem with that. There's a top function button just here, and that one is great to get to. But the other one, I find I can't explain what I mean, but yeah, not very comfortable. But I've set up the top one for setting me focus menu, as it were, and then you can scroll through at the top of the screen here. It's got the focus menu, so when you hold that in and you scroll through it, it comes up with a different, if you look at the very top where the yellow is, it comes up with your different focus points, manual focus, AF single. But what I didn't realise, to get it to face detect, you've got to have it in a different mode, and that's adjusted by pushing that button in and turning the front dial, and I didn't know that. So that's now on, right, that's now on touch to focus or use a joystick. I think, yeah, using a joystick, and that should now give me face detect. No, it doesn't, because it's on the wrong mode. Sorry, it won't give me face detect on that mode. So, you know, if you're not a Nikon user, it will take, I'm pretty confident it will take you a bit of time to get your head around. Now that should be. Yeah, it's on face detect now, so I'm getting there. But each of these controls do two different functions, if that makes sense. Obviously, it kind of makes sense, but I'm trying to get my head around that. For example, adjusting the ISO. So you hold that button in, which is fair enough. Hold the button in, and you turn that to adjust the ISO. Sorry, that's exposure compensation, that one. So you hold the button in, and it turns yellow, which is really helpful. So you can see it is the ISO that you're adjusting. That adjusts the ISO. You know, for love nor money, I couldn't find auto ISO. It was driving me insane. I couldn't find out how to Google it. But you hold that button in, but you adjust the other dial. And that will take it onto auto or manual. Now, that makes a lot of sense, really, because you can very quickly change from auto to manual. Well, on the Fujis, you've got to keep turning the dial till you get to auto. It's a bit, you know, more convoluted. So it does make sense once you get the hang of it. Also, as I found out, you hold this button in, then you adjust it, and that can be a bit awkward at times. You can actually set it in the menu to just push the button in, let go, and then adjust it. I haven't done that yet, but you can do. So, you know, the Nikon is very configurable. I think if you've come from Nikon, you'll fall into the controls no problem whatsoever, because I suspect all the other Nikons are very similar to this one, you know. Particularly with taking the lenses on and off and all the settings. I haven't come from it. It's been about 10 years at least since I last used a Nikon. But I'm loving it though. I really am enjoying it. Another feature that I love to bits, my Olympus had it. My Olympus OMD EM1 II you could do it with. This one, I really wish Fuji would do this. I really do. This one is great for setting it to video, because you've got a switch on the back here. So that's set at the moment to photo. All you do, flick it down and you're in video. And the settings for video and the function buttons are completely different to what they are for photos. Why can't all manufacturers do that? I think that's phenomenal. So if you've got it set to 1/50th of a second, auto exposure, blah, blah, blah for video, and turn it back to photos, you might have 1/500th of a second set for photos and different aperture settings or whatever, you know, and they stay set. It's great. I love that. But yeah, so that's the Nikon Z6. Very, very pleased with it. I say 24 megapixel sensor. Oh yeah, 5-axis image stabilization. For me, that's fantastic. I love that in the Fuji X-H1. That's one of my favourite features of a Fuji X-H1, is the image stabilisation in the body. And apparently, even when you adapt older lenses, you get 3-axis image stabilisation on this. The only other annoying thing, I haven't yet received my XQD card reader. The shop I bought this from didn't have any in stock, so I've had to order it from Amazon. So I thought, oh, no worries, it comes with a USB-C cable to plug into your computer for transferring files over. Yeah, but it don't work. It's another thing I've noticed. You can't just plug your camera into the computer and transfer your files over. No, you've got to download a piece of Nikon software for that to see the camera, and then transfer the files into the folder that software sets. Then you can transfer the images from that folder to the folder that you want them in. Oh, convoluted, what a pain in the butt. So anyone buying this camera, or the Z7, can I strongly recommend that you do definitely get an XQD card reader. The other thing is, I can't update the firmware of the camera as yet, because I need to put the firmware on the XQD card, which is great, but you can't do that with a camera plugged in, because the computer won't see the camera, so you've got to wait till you get your XQD card reader. And really, that's the only few downsides. So, as I say, it's just the handling of it, not the handling as far as that is concerned, but the menu structure and all the knobs and dials I'm trying to get my head around. Well, I am getting my head around. But yeah, so there you go. That's the Nikon Z6, the 24 megapixel sensor one. Not the, oh, I'd say the other feature that I do love. Sorry, I did forget one. You can set it up in video and in photography. I've got it set up in video mode because that's what I'll be using this feature for. But let's turn it back on and put it into video, which is in video now. So we're in video mode, which is great. And you know, I said earlier you can set these function buttons up differently for video. Well, I've got this bottom one set up for FX and DX mode, so it can crop into the sensor and you don't lose any quality. What a fantastic idea. So if you look there, I've got that set just to the normal 24 to 70. That's not a good example. Over there it's most telephoto, but let's say for example I need that to go in tighter. Flick of a button, I can switch that to DX mode or FX mode. I don't know which way round it is with Nikon, I've forgotten. But Sony would call it Super 35mm mode, which is basically the APS-C crop part of a sensor. And you don't lose no quality. And I mean, that's fabulous. What a fabulous idea, Nikon. Sony A7 III will do that as well. You can actually set a button up for going into the crop sensor mode. And I mean, it's a marvellous idea. That I shall use on a regular basis because I've only got the one lens. Now, I could set that up for photography as well, but if it's like the Sony, which it will be, instead of being a 24 megapixel, you'll end up with about 9 or 10 megapixel photos. I'm not sure if I would want to do that with a full frame camera. I cannot see the logic in that, but because you can crop it afterwards in the edit. So, you know, not so sure, but in video, fantastic feature. So there we go. That's the Nikon Z6, my favourite camera at the moment. I still love my Fuji X-T3 and my X-T30 and all my Fujis. They're not going anywhere. But yeah, that's the Nikon Z6. Great camera. I hope you found it. Takes the standard Nikon batteries, but the new batteries, the EL15Bs. Is it EL15s? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, oh, this is a 15 HP, high power. I guess, I don't know, because it's a Hainel, it's not a Nikon. But yeah, so it's a standard Nikon battery, which is great because that's what Fuji do. But the new ones you can charge via USB-C. Apparently the older Nikon batteries, although they're working with camera, you can't charge them via USB. So there we go, that's not the Nikon battery because it's the wrong colour, but that just slots in there. And there you go. So that's my initial impressions of a Nikon Z6. Very, very much enjoying it. Great image quality. Very pleased with the camera. I've just got a few things to play with it to suss out, so there we go. I do hope you enjoy this channel and you do find these reviews helpful, certainly for making buying decisions, or even you know, just to watch out of idle curiosity. If you do enjoy the channel, please hit the subscribe button, and if you found this video useful, please hit the like button. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more video related, photographic related and audio related. I'm using my Rode wireless Go microphone, which I bought very recently. Here it is. Sorry if it's making a lot of noise. That's my Rode wireless Go. Love that microphone system, so much easier for setting up. And I'll be using that on pretty much everything, I reckon. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy this review, and please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks again. Cheers for now. Bye.